Right, and here to share how we can transform the traditional IP marketplace, a summary of the summaries of the discussions the last few days, we have none other than Puan Samirah Muzaffar, the head of IT Valuation Marketplace, MyPIO. Please help me welcome Puan Samirah.
Good evening, everyone. Assalamualaikum and salam satu Malaysia. I understand that I'm doing the wrap up. Well, it's not actually a wrap up of the entire sessions because I believe that each of you actually went through different tracks, different experience. So what we want to sum up is that the important key points that MyPIO would like you to take back after this wonderful 3 days of knowledge sharing, networking, and interesting ideas throwing. So these are the important factors that we would like you to take home with you. So the topic for today is glam up your IP to captivate the market. As you know, IP rights is everywhere. After these 3 days of intense discussion, you would realize that you have IP rights for almost everything that you're venturing into, whether it's your business idea, your standard operating procedure, your tagline, your website, everything is IP rich. So if any one of you here can actually say that you do not have any of that, or that any of your business or services or any product and solutions that you have created has no IP rights whatsoever, please raise your hands. I would love to know which industry do not have any form of IP rights whatsoever. Whether it is in the food industry, tech industry, biotech, creative, I would say there will always be some form of IP rights. Correct? Yes or no? Yes? MyPIO staff, yes? Okay, so we agree to that. So all these are trademarks. And it's on most things that surround us. We are familiar with all of this. You know, even, for example, the Coke. I can't point, the screen is too big. The Coke bottle, for example, it has numerous IP rights. The formula itself is a trade secret. The bottle itself, industrial design. The Coca-Cola word is trademark. So that itself has numerous IP rights. And you will see that every single mark there is not one IP on its own. Whether it's Astro, whether it's Malaysian Airlines, FB, Toyota, it has numerous IP rights. So that's why we have to glam it up. And we are proud to say that IP rights filing is increasing locally. As you can see for patents, PCT, trademark, ID, there's never a dip. There's an onward increase in filing trend. So have to proceed with IP protection. So why do we need to glam this up? Because IP is recognized as one of the more important assets. It is the foundation of actually getting market dominance. It gives you a profit. And I'm sure from the tracks and sessions that you have been attending, this is true. And IP is legally protectable. You can enforce your rights. You can separate your IP rights from all your other rights that you have. You can separate trademark, patents, copyrights, ID from your goodwill, for example. So you can actually separate IP rights. You can identify and separate it. And it can be dealt with any other IP assets. Can I ask a question to make sure that no one is, really falling asleep? MyPIO will give something, whoever gets it right. Right, Puan Jamila? Okay. Can IP rights, can you will out your IP rights? Can you, like your house, in the event of you passing on, can you actually say that I am going to will out my house or faraidkan my house to my son, for example, or daughter? Can it be done? Anyone? Yes? No? Yes? It's not collective answer. Someone should have raised their hands. See, everyone said yes. Sorry, no present. Yeah. So yes, you can actually wheel out your rights. Can you imagine if you have, for example, a very good trademark and you're making so much money from it, and you, instead of just giving, real estate is quite expensive in Malaysia nowadays, prices of houses are going up. But let's say you have trademark, you have IP rights, you have patents, you have your trademark, you have copyright. You can wheel out these rights to your next of kin. Isn't that great? You're actually leaving something behind. Right, yes. So it is a very interesting asset. So it doesn't look boring anymore, doesn't it? Okay, first reason to glam up your IP rights. Why glam it up? Leverage on government's initiative. We have this great initiative that's called the IP Financing Valuation and Marketplace, and we are only giving and assisting companies that have glamorous IP. So, just a short background, what we have achieved. We have local IP valuers, some of which are attending this course. We have conducted numerous IP valuation on selected SMEs. And in order for us to do free evaluation for your company, you have to have a glamorous IP. We have also developed an IP valuation model that is available on MyPIO's website, the salient features. We have also created an IP marketplace in order for you to actually buy and sell, license, assign your IP rights. You need to have a glamorous IP. If you actually put a non-glamorous IP on our marketplace, I'm sure you're not going to get buyers, right? So, the reason that you should have a glamorous IP is so that you can leverage on the government's current initiative. And what is this initiative? The more interesting initiative is the MDV's IP financing scheme. It is 50% guaranteed by CGC. And you actually get a 2% interest rate subsidy. So the interest rate is very competitive, and you can use it for anything as opposed to not just project-based. And if you are eligible for MDV's financing or My Creative Ventures financing, we will actually do a free valuation on your IP. And with this valuation, you can talk to investors, you can actually look at, having collaboration with third party. There's so many things you can do, and this is all FOC. So that's one reason why you should glam up your IP. This is our IP rights marketplace. We have conducted numerous seminars and workshops. We have stakeholders engagement and consultation. We have the portal that is up and running. And we also have direct engagement with IP owners. So talk to us. If you actually want to be part of this marketplace, be it you being an IP agent or IP broker or any form of IP intermediary, you can leverage on this IP rights marketplace. And we also have all this training and interesting seminars and talks, like our signature Teh Tarik sessions. I believe that most of you may have attended. We have conferences and seminars like we had 2 years ago, the first GIPVC, followed by this GIPVC. We even have customized programs. Let's say you have a big enough crowd that you feel that you want to know more about IP, talk to us, and we can actually cater something for you. So all this provided that you have IP rights. If you have IP rights, these are all available to you. Second reason why you have to glam up your IP. We have just launched a new program that's called IP Connect. IP Connect is very interesting because it has 3 components. One is an IP talk. We will talk on specific industry. It is very practical. We'll get industry players to also speak on it. The first talk we had was during the One ASEAN Entrepreneurship Summit in March. That was the pre-launch, the launching of the One AES. Then we have also the IP clinics. A number of IP clinics was also held on the 8th recently, where you have a one-to-one session with an IP consultant. This is very specialized because, as you know, the consultants that we have that giving you free advice are senior consultants. And if you walk into any of the legal firms or IP company, you know that you have to pay some fee. And you can't ask anything that you want, but for the IP clinics, you can do so. And after the IP clinics, if you have suitable IP rights and your company falls under the definition where we can help to subsidize, under this new program, we will subsidize your IP filing for your copyright, ID, or trademark. Isn't that interesting? Yes. So the IP clinics, like we say, is not a normal IP clinic. We are not saying that you just go there and ask whether you can register your trademark or industrial design. You can ask anything you want, provided it's IP related. You can talk about IP contracts. You can talk about IP negotiation, about branding and merchandising, protection, litigation. You're being sued. Someone is taking action against you, or you want to sue someone. You can ask, but provided it's within the 30-minute time frame. So it's different, and it's free FOC under this IP Connect program. And this is something that we will subsidize. When it comes to the application, for example, for trademark, we also subsidize the consultation fee. We are doing for both. We are doing for trademark, ID, and also copyright for now. So these are the costs that we are actually absorbing. Third reason why we have to glam up. If you have any questions, please interrupt and ask. And we have a number of MyPIO officers around, and you can ask them about the IP Connect program or the IP Valuation Initiative, provided that you have some IP that that qualifies. Third reason why you have to glam it up. Be like the successful entrepreneurs. Throughout this conference, you will see that most of the topics that we portray or we actually have are not just simple IP in terms of why you should register IP or how long these IP rights are. It is not an academic conference. We had interesting entrepreneurs that came to share information. We had an angel investors session. We had the young entrepreneurs coming in and doing pitching. There were so many interesting things happening. So if you want to be like the successful entrepreneurs, you should actually look at your IP portfolio from the start. So we're saying, in order to glam up your IP, you must have an IP portfolio that you strategically identify, protect, and manage from the very beginning. You think that, all these entrepreneurs who started very young, from the young age, as of 20 to 25, 26, that's really young, and they're really successful, is because they actually protected their IP from the start. They understood the importance of a trademark. They understood that they must have a brand that is different than others, whether it's Google, Apple, Microsoft, FB. They protected it from the very beginning. They actually had a strategy. So if you want to be successful like them, you have to protect your IP. You have to look into IP strategy. You have to make your IP glamorous, just like how they did it. So why do I say that IP rights is something that you have to do it right from the start? Because IP rights benefit a business from start to end. For example, you have your IP rights, you have a bundle of IP, trademark, ID, patent, let's say. You can raise it to use. You can use it to raise financing, grants, VC. You can get angel investment in. As you can see from the workshops that we had, from the tracks that we actually had, you can see that you can use IP rights to raise such funding and financing. And not only that, your IP right covers from end to end. You can actually cut and dice up your IP so that you can use it for licensing, for assignment. You can actually sell your IP. You need not sell it together with your business. For example, certain parts of your IP, you can choose to license, and you can license it to another party. An example that we all may remember is like, your Upin Ipin. Tuan Haji Burhan was here recently. I'm not sure whether he's still around, but for Upin Ipin, the dua budak botak kan, is used for merchandising. You can get its figurine everywhere. You can get its collaboration and licensing with Colgate, for example. So there are numerous things that you can do with IP, not just one thing. And most importantly, for entrepreneurs and SMEs, you would always encounter difficult times, yes? it will not be all rosy for you. So at times when it gets really bad, when there's a cash flow difficulty or cash flow crunch, you can actually look into selling off your IP, assigning your IP, or doing something with your IP so that it is separately valued and sold to sustain your business. Or in the event there's a winding up, you will actually get something from your business as opposed to nothing. And you must remember that certain IP rights last a very long time. So in difficult times, your IP can be used to your benefit. So IP rights benefit from end to end. So you have to look at the IP life cycle. There is the first stage where you identify you want to protect. You should conduct clearance searches, and all this you can do on your own. And you can do your filing, registering, and after that you can also do your advertising, promotion. This is the IP concept that is from the start to market. Then you must always monitor your IP. All this is something that you can do on your own without having to go through IP agent, right, Mohan? It's okay, thank you. But largely for copyrights, ID, and trademark. I mean, for patents, it's a bit more difficult because of the claims. But we are saying is that this is largely for entrepreneurs. When you actually want to start up your business, I understand there's a cash flow issue. But you have to start doing this. And this is something that you can do on your own. If you utilize our IP Connect program, we will actually assist you with this. This is going to detail. I can just run through very fast. This is just, you have to identify your IP, you have to know what portfolio you're looking at, whether it is copyrights, know-how. Not everything has to be registered. You can choose not to register something like Coca-Cola never registered its formula. It's always a trade secret. For example, even a KFC is not the formula or the mix is never patented anywhere. So it's still a trade secret. So not everything must be registered. So IP does not mean that you have to register your rights. IP strategy means you have to actually look at the rights and decide which of it is going to be beneficial for me now. As a company, let me do the minimum at the very start. We understand that you do not have the money, not at the very beginning. Just do one single trademark protection, for example. Do that. Or bad comes to us, just do a copyright notification so you have something. As you grow bigger, you can always add more to your IP portfolio. But by not doing at all, it shows that you're going to lose out when it comes to IP rights and actually leveraging and looking at the end-to-end, which we are promoting. Then, you do your due diligence. You can do it on your own. The clearance searches, you just come over to MyPIO and doing it, do the searches. You can do IP due diligence to make sure that IP due diligence is more, let's say you want to actually license someone else's IP, or you want to enter into collaboration with someone else, and you want to make sure that that IP itself belongs to some other company that you are entering into an agreement with. Do a due diligence. That's at the start. You can establish who are the rightful owners, and to avoid any encumbrances or legal issues later on. Filing and registration. Do the filing, whether it's trademark, patents, and copyright. You actually build your investors' confidence, because by having a file, a protected IP, you are looking at, when you talk to your investors, whether it's local or abroad, especially if it's abroad, you realize that by saying that, I have all this protected, you actually they will realize that you are serious. Okay? Advertising and promotion, you can advertise your brand. The stronger your brand is, the stronger your IP rights is. And the stronger your IP rights is, for example, your trademark has more value for you to actually, wheel out later on to your next of kin, for example, or your trademark becomes so valuable that you can actually license it to a bigger pool of people. And you have to actually monitor your IP, because if you actually protect your IP and you have put everything else in place, someone else may start infringing on it, or someone else may start, diluting your IP. So you should monitor it as and when you can, or as you go along. The fourth reason why you should glam it up is IP is a business that has a lot of money in it when you actually sell, license. I mean, all of us talk in the news. We talk about the WhatsApp sale. We talk about, waste. We talk about all this sale. But none of this actually is about selling a store. It is not about selling anything that's tangible. You're not selling anything that's brick and mortar. You are selling database. You are selling your IP rights. You're selling the mark. And look at the amount of money that they are selling it for. 8.5 billion, 19 billion USD. All these are IP sale. So if you want to make money, do it also via the IP-rich businesses. And it's very relevant for all of you that's in the tech and creative industry. So there are ways to monetize your IP, whether it's for your own use. You can use it to create a new market. Those of you that listened to Liu Ray and Melinda Louis earlier on would realize that you can actually protect your IP for new market. You can license it via others, whether it's just one-way licensing or cross-licensing. What's interesting? Those of you that attended the university and RI session, you find that as a company, you may not have enough money to do R&D, but you may have a very good patent, for example. Why not look into cross-licensing? Cross-licensing meaning that I give my license to you, and you, on the other hand, give your rights to your IP to me. We exchange it. There's no money exchange, which you may not have at the very beginning. Cross-licensing is only possible if you actually protect your IP. You can franchise it. I understand there are people from the Malaysian Franchise Association that came looking at merchandising, have figurines at petrol station or merchandising in terms of kids' toys for those in the creative and movie industry. I heard that some of you are. And collaboration, whether it's co-branding, you can have co-branding, in numerous stages. I will show later on, joint venture, R&D, sale. You can have an outright sale, or you can have a merger and acquisition, damages from litigation. There's so many ways to monetize your IP. So this is an outright sale. You actually just sell your IP outright. That means you sell it, you get your money, that's it. And all of them have done it. This is a sale. We know Jimmy Choo's sale years ago, so you can see how much. For example, Jimmy Choo is a very interesting case. You can actually see even after sale, Jimmy Choo's branding or trademark actually went up to be really high. See, it was 800. It was only 10 million early on. They were sold for 800 million, just over a span of not even 15 years. See, this is an IP sale. This is a pure trademark sale. They didn't sell the shoe shop with this. They only sold the Jimmy Choo branding, and that is trademark. Facebook, bought WhatsApp for 19 billion. Again, this is an IP sale. And what's interesting is that for IP rights, as opposed to any other rights, you can actually change format. How wonderful is that? Isn't that glamorous? You can actually today feel that I'm going to quit my day job and write a book. After writing a book, you have a very good storyline. Someone's going to approach you and say that, can I make it into a movie? That's a different kind of right. You get royalty from there. And then from there, you decide that I'm going to start merchandising whatever that's on the movie screen. You get additional money for that. And then, who knows? Kids love your book, the movie. You may even have a theme park, just like what happened with Harry Potter. She was just a homemaker who was just penning this story for her kids. Look how big she grew. Because you can actually change format, and at each stage, you get a new form of IP rights, and you can get new ways to actually make more money. Even locally, for our dear Datuk Lat, who was with us for the GIPVC2015, he wrote this wonderful, Kampung Boy books. From that, it changed into animated series. And from the animated series, he actually went into merchandising. And not only that, if you remember, on Air Asia flight, they had drawings of Datuk Lat on it, right? So that itself is also licensing. So he was collecting licensing deals from AirAsia too. And now he has a cafe. Again, it is evolving to other formats. Collaboration. All these are collaboration. That means you collaborate with someone else into coming up with a new product. Okay, so licensing, IBM licenses a number of licensing deals, for example, with Cisco. All these are interesting deals that is available. All these are money-generating deals or contracts. And the last reason why you should actually look into glamming up your IP. Last but not least, okay, all I have said before this, all the 4 reasons are all IP related. But do you know that just protecting your IP alone is not enough? It isn't. You have IP management, as how we discussed earlier. You do your advice, your duty, your protection, your maintenance. You decide whether you want to sue or not to sue. You strategize, you exploit. Fine, it's all IP, right? It's very much business related. We also forget that you can also enhance the IP value in other ways that's not IP related. For example, how many of us actually do non-disclosure agreement before you talk to anyone? You have a great idea. You protected your IP, you have done anything, but you must remember IP protection takes time. If you put in your trademark, if you put in for expedited filing, registration, it takes a minimum of 6 months. But you will have to start talking to your key people. You have to look into non-disclosure agreement. Many do not do so, and they realize that someone else is copying the IP. For in the broadcasting world, you actually, for example, share out your scripts that you have written. You send it to everywhere from Astro to RTM. Do you attach together, or do you put a disclaimer there to say that they cannot copy this for any other purposes? Most of us don't do that. You have a strategic productization, or you have services that you want to give, and you go and talk to potential buyers. Do you get them to sign NDA? We don't. Don't come up with an NDA that's 5 pages long. No one's going to sign it. Come up with something that's a half a page. That's very simple. Just say that this is yours. You cannot use it without seeking your written advice. That's it. Simple, but do it. This will actually enhance your IP value. No use that you do all the strategy in place, but at the end of the day, you do not even have this at the very beginning. And not only that, do we actually look at the employment agreement? You set up your business, you're so excited, you get people to come and work for you, you get your developers to start developing the web, you get developers to actually start looking at the creative side. Do you look at what kind of agreement that you enter into with them? What's going to stop them from just taking away everything that belongs to you and setting up a different company? Nothing, right? So having a strong employment agreement with the key protection clauses in it is also very important. This is not so much IP, but these are things that will enhance your IP value. And looking into, you put some money or getting information or knowledge from IP agreements that you need to draft, basic agreements about licensing, basic agreements about how to negotiate. All these are important things. I've heard issues about I cannot amend if I actually enter into a contract with, for example, big players like Disney, Cartoon Networks. But correct me if I'm wrong with the lawyers that are around this room. You cannot amend or you cannot negotiate the body itself, but you can always negotiate the schedule. And the schedule will have certain terms, The schedule will have certain terms that you can negotiate on. So those things can be done, so you have to know what you can and cannot do. These are all not IP rights, but these are basic contractual knowledge. These are basic negotiation knowledge that you should have. And I hope that in the conference, because the tracks are so are different, it is very practical, you get to ask these kind of questions. What else you can do to enhance your IP value? So with that, thank you. Any questions? Any burning questions? Or all of you are looking at the clock and saying, wow, it's going to go 4:30. No questions? Really? I was that clear, is it? Thank you. If I was that clear and there's no question, it sounds really good. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Samirah. All right, moving along very, very quickly. Let's go to the presentation of the Youth Unconference findings. And for that, I'd like to invite Oko from Up Global and Mike Mechalik from Thailand. Let's hear about your unconference.
Good evening, everybody. Hi. Hello. All right, so first of all, thank you very much for all the startups and community folks that were in the youth track. We would like to thank for this opportunity. This was a great conference, kind of unexpected for us, but we actually got a lot out of it, and we really understood the importance of it. So with that said, yes, my name is Oko. I am originally Mongolian, but now I am here representing an organization called Up Global, better known for our programs such as Startup Weekend, Startup Next. As you know, last August we have opened our Southeast Asia office in Kuala Lumpur with the launch of Magic Center and President Obama's visit here. And from this office, we oversee our programs in East Asia, Southeast Asia, and Oceania, so including Australia and New Zealand. And I was lucky enough to be invited by Startup Malaysia to really help out me and some of our partners here to help out on the youth and startup track. So something we decided to do with the track was, you know, why don't we didn't really know about IP ourselves. We've been working in the startup community for a while. We have, for instance, 45 to 60 different programs going on this quarter in the region alone. And so we wanted to use this opportunity to really explore this. We wanted to have a meaningful discussion. And we were also wondering, what can we do in 2 days? Who can we invite together here to get something out of it? So the metrics we put forward was, really, let's have some good discussions, and then launch a website based on these discussions we had. So at the end of my talk here, we'll be launching this website, and you all will take a look at it. So we've had, in the last 2 days, including today, we've had 12 countries being represented in that room. Some of you might have visited us. We've had community leaders, community organizers, startups from 12 different countries in the region coming together. And we did something really different even for us. We've partnered with Startup Grind, Startup Mamak, who's a Malaysian organization, and Up Global. We tried something called the World Cafe model. So we basically took our participants close to anywhere, I think we were a little over 30 people in that room, locals and these country representatives. And we basically, you know, asked some questions from us and really started with, why do we care about IP? Went into smaller groups and we challenged each other. We found some really interesting outcomes, and one of our representatives here, Mike Mechalik from Bangkok, EdTech Asia, will actually talk about the findings. Yeah, so let me invite Mike, and he can share with his experience here, please.
Okay, thank you, Oko. My name is Mike Mechalik. I'm not Thai, but I live in Thailand, so I just want to make that clear. Okay, thank you. Thank you. So I just wanted to also mention the Ministry of Finance of Malaysia. I would just like to say, well done. Regionally, I work on some regional initiatives, and it's always good to see ministries of finance being progressive. And I would like to say from an external perspective that the MOF in Malaysia has that reputation. So well done for taking the initiative to put something like this together. So basically what happened, Oko and his team and MyPIO did an excellent job of pulling together some of the key stakeholders throughout the region to like Oko said, engage in dialogue around IP. It's very interesting in the entrepreneurship and early startup stage community, this is often a neglected topic. And that was primarily one of the main outcomes, one of the things that just resonated the most was the lack of awareness at this phase. So we came up with some specific actions, which I won't go into great detail, but on how to improve the awareness within the startup community. You know, anybody that's hyper aware of what's going on regionally, not just here within Malaysia or not just within ASEAN, but there's an almost exponential increase in the amount of accelerators and startups in the region. A couple of years ago, in Thailand, for example, there was maybe 100 or 200 startups in the whole country. Now we're approaching close to 500. That's just in Thailand. So it's very consistent what's going on. And as the number of accelerators and startups grow throughout the region, the importance of IP is only going to be more profound. So aside from awareness, some of the main issues that are facing the startup and entrepreneurship community is also money. Obviously, a lot of these companies are bootstrapped. They just don't have the capacity. They don't have the awareness. And they don't have the time, you know, depending on the individual company and whatnot, and what phase within the startup growth continuum they're in. So there's essentially 4 distinct phases that we kind of discussed. Obviously, there's the early idea stage, the prototype stage, funding when you're actively looking for funds, and then growth. So what we found is startups essentially address IP strategically at different phases. Within different countries, there's also great variations. So these are just some of the things that kind of came up. Obviously, we need to go into a little bit more thought and detail, and we've come up with some specific actions that we're going to highlight in the website that I believe Oko is going to share with us soon. Those are some of the main things. We also talked about issues like open source, the importance of IP and open source. And let me see. I think that's about it. I think for this site that Oko is going to share in about a minute, it's extremely important that the regional community has some kind of common anchor or some common source to refer to for this kind of information. And I'm hoping just with the launch of this website and what comes about it that this will serve as that anchor. So, Oko?
All right, thank you, Mike. So the website we're about to launch has been done as an outcome of these 2 days. And you know, what we're hoping is we take some of the suggestions that these people were able to put forth for us. Many great suggestions, and out of that something for me, for instance, something I can do is start inputting IP education in all of our programs within UP Global, with other pre-accelerator programs and accelerator programs throughout the region. So this we are hoping will be just the beginning, and all the people who worked on this website together will continue. My hidden agenda, so to speak, will be that we form some kind of association for startups, ASEAN startups, to deal about IP and learn about IP, educate each other, increase the awareness, so forth. So this website is called ASEANStartupIP.com, and it is really a collaboration work between Up Global, Startup Malaysia, Startup Grind, Startup Mamak, and then I also input some of the other organizations like EdTech Asia here, who's helping us put those websites together. And yeah, we would like to
we'd like to invite
launch the site now.
Director General of MyPIO, Puan, if you could come up and do the honors and launch the website.
All right, you just have to click here.
Just click.
Yes. please feel free to go on the website, check out all the content that we have put up in there. And it's just a beginning. We don't know what it will morph into in the future, but this at least can be the first step towards gathering all the startups to talk about IP, increase the awareness, and hopefully lead others to take more action on this. Thank you very much.
Okay, a good start for ASEAN Startup IP. Thanks, Oko. Thanks, Mike. Puan, we still need you to do the closing. Janganlah lari. You'd like to go down? Okay. And now may I formally invite Puan Samsiah Kamaruddin, Director General of MyPIO, to deliver her closing remarks.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And salam sejahtera, salam satu Malaysia, and a very good afternoon. Actually, what Samirah has actually spoken about to wrap up the 2 days conference is, to me, is like is very complete about the summarization of the 2 days conference, and I have nothing much to say. But it's just like a closing session. This is going to be a very short speech. I know that all of you is looking forward to go back. It's already almost 5 o'clock, so it's just a few minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, first and foremost, on behalf of the Intellectual Property Corporation of Malaysia, or MyPIO, and the Ministry of Domestic Trade, Cooperatives and Consumerism, I would like to thank all of you for taking your time away from your busy schedule to attend this conference and to share your thoughts, knowledge, and experience with all present here. At MyPIO, we appreciate the support and enthusiasm you have showed throughout this 3-day event. I also like to record my thanks to all the staff at the Ministry, MyPIO, and the event manager, and those who have helped in one way or another to make this biennial conference a success. Without the hard work and commitment of everyone involved, this conference would not have been possible. Congratulations to all of you. It is very heartening to have met so many enthusiastic, smart, and talented people throughout the 3 days. I especially note the presence of the youth and entrepreneurs who were not present in our inaugural GIPVC back in 2013. I am very happy to have you join us this year to make this conference more inclusive and reflective of the importance of the role and contributions that the young make to our IP and innovation ecosystem. Ladies and gentlemen, as you have experienced these last few days, this GIPVC 2015 with the tagline, Ideas to Value, Accelerating ASEAN, was designed to provide a more regional coverage of issues relating to the valuation of IP, the monetization of IP, and how to uncover and unlock the IP value across various sectors and segments of the industry and community. I hope that by attending this conference, you will have plenty of takeaways which you can use and implement in your work and benefit immediately from the knowledge and information gathered from these few days. With the collective effort of everyone contributing their part in making the IP ecosystem work, we are confident that Malaysia will be able to raise its standard among our regional neighbours and on the global level to compete more effectively in the new ideas economy era. I also hope to welcome you back to our next installment of GIPVC 2017 in 2 years' time. For those who have traveled from out of state and from overseas, We wish you a safe journey as you return home. We hope that you have enjoyed the hospitality Malaysians are famous for. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Terima kasih, Puan.
Thank you.
All right, quick question. Does anybody know what the password was for the Wi-Fi during the conference? Pardon? This is? Awesome. You're right, this is awesome. This was an awesome conference, and that's why we had the password, this is awesome, because we knew it was going to be an awesome conference. So 2.5 days of a really great conference. There was so much to be learned. We had some wonderful tracks. We had trending, we had regional, we had the startup and youth, and we had the specialists. We had great panelists from those who I was told look like Hindustani movie stars, talking about you, Mohan, to those who, like Scott, challenged us all to put on our thinking caps because he asked us more questions than we asked him, and to the very kind ones like Tim and Matt, who were told to join a panel discussion, and then when they got there found that they were a panel of one. But all of them who so very kindly shared their vast experience and knowledge with us as we went through a whole gamut of things ranging from protection to monetization of IP, including one which I had great difficulty pronouncing after lunchtime, which was collateralization of IP. So lots and lots of things to learn. And I think what we all came away with, the most important thing was that the IP space is a really exciting place to be in right now. And as IP gains more and more traction, as it's recognized, I think, everyone, not just those in the IP arena, but, the related ones, like the people who are going to finance you, the accountants who are going to put this on your balance sheets, they're all recognizing the fact that IP is a new asset class. So I'd like to congratulate all of you on your newfound wealth, because obviously you're all not thinking about leaving and getting into traffic, but, how you're going to protect and monetize your IP naturally. And with that, it only leaves me to say congratulations to MyPIO, to the Ministry and Ministry of Finance for their support in arranging such a wonderful thing. We're happy to hear Puan Samsia invite all of us back again for 2017, by which time I don't know if I'll remember anything that I learned in this last 2.5 days, so I'll be happy to come back and learn some more. And with that, I'd like to say thank you very much, everyone. Have a safe trip home, and we'll see you again soon. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.